Let's talk about this CVZ once more. Darkforce is 0-3 in the regular season so far. Dimaga is 1-2. He started off really well, then lost against Hero, which is of course okay, like that can happen. In the first week he did beat Hazwolves, by the way, guys, and that was awesome. And then last week he lost rather surprisingly to Show. So we'll see. This is going to be a big game for Dimaga. Darkforce on the other end, he is 0-3. There are still chances that he could finish as a good number 2. He could still make it into the playoffs.
He's going to have to win out.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to have to start winning right now, because the moment you go 0-4, then things are starting to look really grim.
We've got a speedling opening for Dimaga against something different from Darkforce. He went spawning pool and then gas. It was 14 pool and then I think 14 gas, maybe 15 pool, 14 gas. Something like that, where he's basically not going to have enough gas for speed immediately after his spawning pool finishes, unlike Dimaga, who's going to be able to start speed in just a couple of seconds. So I'm curious, most often when you see a player do this, it's hinting towards roaches, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee it. Darkforce could still get speed. And I've seen Darkforce open like this in ZVZ before, and be like, oh, he's going to go roaches, and then he actually doesn't. He just gets speed a little bit later than his opponent.
Well, I think we remember that ZVZ series Darkforce played against Red at the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge in Sao Paulo, where it started off pretty bad for Darkforce. He was down 0-2 really quick, but then before he knew it, it was 2-2, and that final game of Shakura's, Darkforce was playing really well. Nothing was going Red's way. Red kept supply blocking himself, and then Red actually decided for the first time of his life to go with a Roach Nidazol in, and actually pulled it off. But Darkforce looked pretty solid, and I've seen a lot of ZVZ in the past from Darkforce since, I did live in Germany for a long time, so I casted a lot of Darkforce games in general, and he loves to play a passive style of ZVZ. I mean, in the opening phase, of course, everyone can play aggressive in ZVZ, but the moment the game stabilizes, Darkforce will be very passive. He loves to just sit back and camp on Roach Infestor.
Yeah, he's much like a lot of the European players. He prefers a passive style. He prefers to be reactive. And we can see that he did just go ahead and start Ling speed. He's thrown down his Baneling Nest as well. Dimaga's expanding. He's pulled all of his drones off of gas, only mining that first 100. So he's kind of doing the Roti build, where you just get Ling speed and Lings, and that's all you get.
I think that actually could work out pretty well if he would continue, just keep making links, but he's we can already see he's droning up. So all he wants to do right now is just use that link speed to pick off as many Banelings as possible. Why are you taking this fight, Dimaga? There's a queen there.
Yeah.
Losing a few links. Well, actually, it was completely even.
Pretty even. Speed against slow lings is a fight that often tempts you into taking that fight. But this time with the queen there, it was no good for Dimaga. A little bit surprised that he hasn't tried to run up.
Oh, Dimaga is going to run up right now. He's going to spot that Baneling Nest. The queen is really mad, and it starts attacking his own hatchery.
Why did you let this scout in?
Yeah, man. The queen is just that one guy who always rages, throws stuff to the wall. I'm working overtime and you guys can't do anything right. We're trying to hide something over here. We're working on a special project. And that's very good for Dimaga, because Dimaga knows right now there is a Baneling Nest, but he could also see there wasn't, well, there's quite a bit of gas mined actually. I thought it was less gas mined. So we see a few Banelings for Darkforce, but from what I take out of it, just defensive Banelings. Yeah,
most likely. Dimaga's already gotten his Roach worn down, so unless Darkforce were to get aggressive right now with Banelings, it's virtually impossible for him to do any damage with them, and he's not going to. He's just going to poke around. Oh, he will get a drone kill, so that's pretty cute. And
it's kind of what he needed as well, though, because Dimaga was doing really good economically for quite a while.
Yeah, now we can see that with that drone kill, Darkforce pulls one worker ahead. Well, as soon as I say that, Dimaga pops out 4 more drones. 31-30. Very, very close in regards to the economies of these two players.
But now Darkforce makes 12 links, while Dimaga makes more drones. So if Darkforce is not going to be able to do anything with that, Dimaga is going to be up 6-7 workers, and that's really a lot in ZVD. That's something that you cannot let go unpunished for longer than 45 seconds. Wow.
Now it's Dimaga who pokes in with some Zerglings, getting some drone kills, and he gets, I think, 3 or 4 there.
This is a really big difference right now. He's up 10 workers.
Yeah, and what is the response from Darkforce? He's just going to add more drones. So he's going to try to recover. Dimaga, meanwhile, making a couple of roaches, because I guess he suspects perhaps the threat of counter, or maybe he wants to put on some aggression of his own. There's no Evo chamber down for Dimaga.
He's getting one right now.
You're right, he is. He's building it as natural. But no completed Evo chamber, so no upgrades coming out just yet.
But a pretty quick layer. If we take a look at Darkforce, Darkforce is actually going up to 3 bases right now. Dimaga is aware of this. So right now I think it's a very easy solution for Dimaga. Get +1, get roach speed and go.
Yeah, I think I would be okay with that. If you were to start +1, well, no. Now, if you're starting it just now, it's going to finish a little bit after roach speed, so his timing is not going to be spot on. But he could try that, and I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. He could also just kind of turtle out to a third base with these roaches, which might be what he does. We can see him already sitting that drone, in fact. So.
But when he knows that his stack is so far ahead, just Darkforce just now starting his layer attack. So I think with speed roaches, he should be able to do a lot of damage and potentially even take out this base from Darkforce. Don't you think so?
I think it's incredibly possible.
Wow.
Darkforce is making more Zerglings, and he doesn't have any sort of upgrades. Certainly not Carapace upgrades.
Dimaga is just making a ton of drones. He's going to be way ahead economically, but Darkforce is going to have 3 bases quicker. And I feel that kind of Dimaga's letting a window pass by of where he might have speed. I think after these drones he's going to make a lot of roaches, because he's going to have roach speed so much quicker than his opponent. And that's just awesome. You can do so much more with that.
Well, he does have four Overlords finishing up at once, and the problem is he just doesn't have a whole lot of money to turn into units just yet. He is trying to make as many roaches as he can.
Ooh, he might actually end up losing these 3 roaches, and that's pretty painful.
Oh, look at Darkforce, man. He's really doing a ton of damage. Dimaga's got a couple lings down in Darkforce's third base, but this hatch that Dimaga's building is going to... Ooh, no. Darkforce is going to keep going after roaches. I think that hatch is doomed to fall, Kev.
Yeah, that hatch will fall, and this is super good for Darkforce. What an awesome timing he hit there, picking off 5 roaches in total and forcing a cancel on the hatch and keeping his own hatch alive. And now Dimaga is in a little bit more trouble.
And this is kind of the thing with ZVZ, man. Zerglings are so mobile, they're so good at getting around and punishing you for being out of position or for missing a window that now Darkforce has turned... I heard some banelings blow
Yeah,
up.
that's just a small run by Dimaga. No worries, man. He didn't miss anything. Just 4 or 5 lings run into a baneling. Maybe 3.
Anyway, supply-wise, it's Dimaga with a little bit of a lead, but Darkforce has units popping out.
This is really not good for Dimaga at all. Dimaga's going to end up losing most of these roaches as well. Darkforce with a beautiful surround with those Zerglings. The roaches coming in from all positions. Darkforce is outplaying Dimaga right now.
Yeah, he really is. Dimaga going to try to run up into the main with these roaches and at least try to get a small scout off, but he's not going to see anything that he didn't know was already there. It's running past the roach warren and the baneling nest. Those roaches will be dealt with by the Zerglings alone, as Darkforce is just going to use his own reinforcing units to turn Dimaga around. Dimaga's trying to retake his third. Supply-wise, it's still pretty close.
Yeah. Worker-wise as well, but I mean, Darkforce has those 3 hatcheries, and he's able to mine from 3 hatches as well. I do think that Dimaga has the upgrade. No, they're both at 1-1. Dimaga is getting, or 1-1, 1-0 by the way. Dimaga is getting 2-0 as well, but I don't think that Dimaga... well, I don't know, it's going to be close. Man, this is a confusing ZVZ so far.
Yeah, and a pretty action-packed one at that, but just we get a little bit more action up here at the third base of Dimaga. Roaches on roaches. It looks like, to me, it looks like Dima might have a few more units in Darkforce, and yes, Darkforce does turn around here, so finally Dimaga going to be able to secure this expansion. But, man, it's really weird because it looks like Darkforce has been winning this whole time, but if you look at the numbers, it's even, if not a little bit in favor of Dimaga.
Dimaga was a little bit ahead economically early on. Ooh, he might be able to pick up this evolution charm, but that would be a really big pickoff, and no, he's not going for it.
Would have stopped +2 from...
Yeah, he could have done it at the cost of, I think, 3-4 roaches, don't you think so?
Yeah, he's still going to lose a couple as he retreats back to his base.
Burrow being researched, by the way, for Darkforce.
Pretty important upgrade in ZVZ, in my opinion, because it's just, it's kind of like the... No, I will not lose a lot of drones to a Zergling run-by ability.
We've been forgetting our predictions today pretty much, Ben, but I can guarantee you guys that for this series, both of us picked MTW Dimaga. We thought he was going to win in the previous game. We only actually let you do your prediction, because you were talking about it for so long that I kind of forgot to make mine.
Really?
Yes, I never made mine, but I actually thought that Noni was going to take it, so I had that one wrong, and you had it right.
Man, dropping the ball today, Kev.
Yeah, we're slacking, man.
What the hell? Lots of roaches coming out on both sides. There's 150 supply for a supply blocked Darkforce against 165 supply for a supply blocked Dimaga. Darkforce has the worker lead, 65 drones to 51, and
that's a pretty big lead in roach wars.
It's a big lead, but as we approach these maxes, it can actually be dangerous. If Dimaga comes into a fight with 14 more supply and roaches, then he's definitely going to win that fight.
Ooh, well, this fight is going to come down to positioning, and so far I like Darkforce's positioning more. The reinforcement is going to be closer for him as well.
Yeah, he does have good positioning. If Dimaga would just step forward, though, he's got the higher roach count, but he's only fighting with a handful of them at a time. Now he does start to move forward a little bit. Concave favoring Darkforce just a bit, but supply-wise, it's Dimaga. 150 supply against 120. Reinforcements are coming. Darkforce forced to back up to Spine Crawlers. Dimaga says, no, sir, I'm going to go for your natural where there are no static defenses.
Well, I must say, Darkforce had Burrow, but didn't use Burrow one time during this entire fight, and I think that's a really big mistake.
I love this. Dimaga just splitting up his units so he can fight effectively on both sides of this engagement. Darkforce trying to send in what reinforcements he can, but the supply lead too much. Dimaga takes out Darkforce in a really strange back-and-forth game, which seemed to favor both players at points. I guess going up to 65 drones is technically what killed Darkforce. He kind of tried to sneak him in there while Dimaga was sticking to the roach production, and he just sort of hit the window.
Yeah, out of nothing, Dimaga suddenly got a crucial roach count. Really confusing game indeed, because that exchange that went on, the turret from Dimaga, that was so big, that was so good for Darkforce. He surrounded 5 roaches, and he killed the hedge. And on that moment, I really felt he was quite far ahead. But Dimaga always stayed pretty much up to par with the roach count. I think that first attack wasn't very... I mean, Darkforce lost a lot of roaches on the north side of the map. He didn't really have to fight there. I don't really know why he wanted to fight there so desperately, when he was also still having the better economy. But as you said, a very back-and-forth game, man. A little bit confusing, man.
Yeah, ZVZ has can be that way sometimes, where you just can't really make sense out of it. You sit there and you play a game, you're like, I'm not really sure what just happened.
If only. It's like that guy, like, Dimaga wins and he has that meme face, like, I have no idea what I just did. It's like, Dimaga, you're god of ZVZ. I have no idea what I just did.
Poker face.
Yeah, poker. The best face.
That game was brought to you guys by Kingston HyperX. We're going to play a short commercial, and then we'll be back with game 2 of Dimaga versus Darkforce. Don't go anywhere.